So I don't think it's going to be a fiscal burden to the community. And I think it does meet and does address that item under your 2011 and 2014 Master Plan Reexamination reports in terms of fiscal impacts.
Facts. We're hearing a lot of information about how the development is bringing revenue, but we're not hearing concise detail of the dollar amount. Are we looking at the expenditures that this development is going to bring, and are we offsetting that expenditures with the revenue? Is that a net revenue or a gross revenue? We need to understand what these numbers are, and we need to understand that in public, not in closed session. So
as it relates to expenditures, I think Ms. Young, you had discussed that. I think Mr. Gruber, you discussed. Where are the income and expense numbers as it relates to these projects? Those are given at the planning board level, and have the ones at least presented are presented at the planning board level by the applicant's planner and by our planner. And I urge you guys to come out there, listen to these meetings. I believe sometimes Dr. Powers has been gracious enough to film them. And there's some specific reports given as to the costs and the expenses of these projects. I will say,
that way the residents have less questions and less apprehension about what's going on, because they can't come to every meeting. They're not able to attend all of the planning board meetings and the council meetings. So if we can put that information out there, we can kind of disseminate some of the worries of the residents, or we can corroborate some of their concerns. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Step forward, please.
We had a planner from the town discuss issues. It was brought up what similar buildings in other towns have, and they gave estimates both from the planning side and from the expert side, and we had input from the public. As people grow in apartments and have numerous kids, I'm sure as your friends and people, you know, they move towards houses, and you have shifts away from apartments towards homes. Not everyone, but you know, it certainly plays on. So when I hear numbers from experts that say that there are fewer numbers going into these apartments that one might initially think, it certainly doesn't sound completely out of place when you take into account, you know, the habits of people. But I would like to see greater transparency in how it's presented to the people. I like the idea of putting things on our website. I like the idea of the reports that our experts are relying on going on the website. And I think as a board, we should, going forward, ask for those experts to provide their underlying reports that they're basing their opinions on to go on our website, so that the public has a little more knowledge and can come asking better prepared questions and hold our feet to the fire if something doesn't actually seem like it's going to pan out.
Doing. Residential development does not bring tax relief. You cannot solve a crushing tax burden by adding residential development. Significant commercial ratables has the chance to reduce tax burdens. It's the only proven path to tax relief. In Teaneck, our commercial ratables are 12% of the total. Our tax rate is just over $3. We have the 7th worst in Bergen County out of 70 municipalities. Our rate is almost double Paramus's at $1.58, and they have almost half of their taxes from commercial ratables. The zoning committee, in almost every case, I think had gigantic issues. Whether it's agreeing with Avalon Bay to a buyout of $30,000 per unit that would cost us $150,000 per unit to create in terms of affordable housing. Thankfully, that was rejected by the planning board. We had the zoning subcommittee walk out in the middle of the January 12th meeting, meet in the back room with B&E Realty, and come back with a proposal to increase the height of the building in 1500 Teaneck Road at the Verizon building from 60 feet to 66 feet. That's a problem. Creating an environment ripe and inviting for developers is the key to relieving Teaneck of its crushing tax burden. The problem is that we need to find a way to save that. The mindless chase for residential ratables, adding thousands of new apartments and new residents in a remarkably short time, will cost Teaneck far more than it can possibly bring in, adding to the costs and wiping out any new revenue while destroying the suburban character of our township. I heard Ms. Talley, who was a planner at 1500 Teaneck Road, saying that the Verizon building would not be a net burden on the township. That's not a moneymaker. That just means that we won't be putting more money into it than it costs us.
Along the way, we have people who, in theory, or according to their certification, have the certification to tell us what is going to happen or what should happen. We have people on the council who act like they know things that they don't really have any knowledge about except what they think. We don't know what's going to happen, but we have people who advise us that we believe that are saying that some of these projects are a good idea. Any kind of production, any kind of project that you put forth in Teaneck, somebody's not going to like it.
So I don't think it's going to be a fiscal burden to the community.